Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Kyra, and here on this channel we love our makeup, we use our makeup, we track our makeup, and sometimes we declutter our makeup. I've been doing a series lately which I've been calling a gentle declutter series, where I go through and weed out things that are just not right for me, things that I've been retaining for comparison purposes for YouTube, which I really don't feel like I need to have given my current channel focus. You know, just getting rid of the extras, things that are similar. After each declutter, I've been sharing with you the 5 pieces that I would keep if I could only keep 5 in each category. So I recently decluttered my powder blushes, and I'm ready to share with you my top 5 blush picks if I could only keep 5 powder blushes. We will also do the same thing with cream and liquids in one video, but for today, let's talk powder. So let's start with the blush that I have on today. That is a MAC Sheertone blush in the shade BlushBaby. It's a beautiful formula. It's called Sheertone because it does give a sheer application, which means it's not only extremely blendable, but it's extremely buildable. This is actually the shade I have on my cheeks today. This look comes from my natural makeup application tutorial that may or may not be up yet. I'm not for sure, but either way, this is the look. I love this blush. It is the smoothest feeling powder blush that I have in my collection, and it is just beautiful. There's nothing about it that I don't like. It does look a little cooler toned in the pan. I think it's more close to neutral. And then on my skin tone, it still looks nice and warm, and it is just a beautiful formula. I highly recommend this MAC formula if you've never tried it before. And like I said, it's a sheer tone blush, so it is beautiful. I just absolutely love this blush. But speaking of love, this blush is the #1 blush for me in my collection, and has been for the last 5 or 6 years that I've owned this blush. I am almost completed panning this blush this year, and it is one of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes. This is a mini, and the shade is called Mood Exposure. And as you can see, it has pigment, but it also has some of that ambient lighting powder that they're so famous for running through and swirling with the blush tone, which means you end up with a really, really stunning, soft, glowy cheek. This one does not swatch well, and it does have to be built up just a little bit on my skin tone, but I'm totally okay with that. And I'll build up the swatch as much as I can just so you can see the tone of the blush and the finish. But because this has that ambient lighting powder running through it, it's just got that soft lit from within glow. Definitely a highlighter optional blush in my opinion. In fact, I'm going to take this brush here and just put a little bit of this on. Why not? Let's go ahead and pick it up. And I really like to focus this on the front, on the cheekbone here. You're gonna see, I mean, just look. Also, because of the ambient lighting powder, this smooths the skin, and especially in this area here where we tend to have a lot of pores. I personally love to wear blush on my apples of my cheek. But look at that, just look at, you can see the glow over here because of the natural light coming in. I love this. I will absolutely 100,000% repurchase this once I pan it. It is my favorite blush. But another old one that I've had for a long time that definitely is in this top 5, or if I could only keep 5 roundup, is my Clinique Cheek Pop in the shade Fig Pop. This is a really beautiful shade for me, and why I like this is because, #1, the formula is quite similar to an Hourglass blush. I don't know that you'll, I mean, it doesn't have any kind of swirling. It is pure pigment, but you might be able to see that it has kind of a satin finish. And I absolutely love that. I think that is 100% why I love this blush, but also this tone of blush is a great sort of sunburny shade for me, something that I can put across the nose, on the cheeks, and maybe even up here along the hairline a little bit. This is my favorite and perfect powder sunburn blush shade. And this formula is just outstanding. I've had this almost as long, if not as long, as the Hourglass blush. This is 5 or 6 years old. If you clean your makeup regularly, you can still use it with confidence. I love Fig Pop. It's, again, I love that satin finish. It gives a slight sort of luminosity to the cheeks without being a highlighter or highlighter-like. But if you do like that highlighter-like blush, this next one, I highly recommend the formula if you love a glowy blush. And that is the Nabla Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder. Yes, a mouthful. This is the shade Independence, and it's a beautiful sort of dusty rose shade. A little of this goes an extremely long way, but it's so beautiful. Look at that. It's just very glowy, very, very beautiful on the skin for a glowy blush. And I did talk about this briefly in my natural makeup application, but I also had a question about this in the comments. And that is, what kind of brush do I use to pick up a blush like this or to apply it? I don't recommend something super soft like this. This is just, and this is more of a natural hair brush. It's just going to apply too much product on the skin because these soft bristles really hold on to the product. But I find something more like this, more like a rounded flat top, maybe even a tiny bit scratchy, if you will, not something that hurts your skin, but you know, something that has a little bit more texture to it than something like this. And I really like to buff a glowy blush into my complexion. So that is the type of brush that I would use with this. But I just absolutely love this. If you use a smaller amount and you really buff it into the skin, those pearls will shine, but they won't look like a stripe. It's just a stunning formula. I do have another shade called Lola, which is more of like a watermelon pink shade, but this one in the shade Independence is a beautiful shade for every day. And the great thing about the Nabla products is they work for any skin tone. Even if this wouldn't work as a blush on your skin, it might work as a blush topper or even a highlighter, depending on your depth of skin tone. So I love this. Highly recommend this formula. It's kind of slept on, and it's one we don't hear about very much anymore. And lastly, one of my very favorite everyday blushes. It's right up there with the Hourglass in terms of how much I like to use it, you know, where it falls in the grand scheme of things. And this one really isn't going to swatch well. Unfortunately, that's just part of it sometimes. But it is a Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic Swish and Pop blusher. This is the shade called Sex on Fire. I know the names, but what I love about this is it has a beautiful sort of peachy nude tone around the outside, and then in the center is sort of this like plummy tone. And when they mix together, they make the most beautiful nude blush. And I think everybody needs a nude blush that's right for them in their collection. So I do go ahead and you know, kind of go all over the pan. I don't stick to any certain part, and it is so beautiful. It's the perfect nude for me. It's very neutral leaning. It's just wonderful. It's the one that I've definitely gotten the most use on out of my 3 shades that I have. I also do really enjoy Pillow Talk, but I like Clinique Fig Pop just a little bit more than that one. And while it is slightly glowy, kind of like the Hourglass, It is not a shimmery or anything like the Nabla. This has just got a slight luminosity, a slight radiance to it. Those are my top 5 blush. If I could only keep 5, well, let me know down below. Did you see any favorites here? What are your top 5 blushes, powder blushes, of course, if you could only keep 5? I am loving this series. It's been a lot of fun. I do believe cream and liquid blush will be next, and then lips, and we'll go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would love it if you could give it a thumbs up. That lets me know you like this type of content so I continue making it in the future. As well as if you are just hanging around, lurking, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It's free and it will help notify you of all of the future videos that I upload. I hope you're having a great week so far. I definitely am. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful, stunning powder blush days. And I will see you in my next video very soon. Bye.